And in my dream, the stars begin to move quickly and chaotically in some kind of dance, accelerating and accelerating, until a number R emerges from the chaotic dance. 2028.
Hey guys, Gabriel Ansley Erb here, keeper of God's 2028 end message ever since the year 2008. And that's the message that Jesus Christ is going to return to this earth in flaming fire, Feast of Trumpets 2028. For 17 years now, I've been preaching this message. And so way back in 2008, when I received it from God, I wrote this book, Undeniable Biblical Proof Jesus Christ Will Return to Planet Earth exactly 2,000 years after the year of his death. So I've been at this a long time. That book was written in 2008. In 2013, we began receiving our first confirmations from God. Something I never expected to happen. Never once when I was writing the book in 2008 did I believe God was going to confirm, do miraculous confirmations that he really was returning in the year 2028. And so from 2013 through 2021, we received over a dozen amazing confirmations from God. And I'm jumping on here today because we just received another one. I'm blown away. It's not a confirmation God just did. It's one he did way back in the year 2000. Before I ever received the message from God. That's what has me blown away. He gave a young man, a 24-year-old man from Kazakhstan, over there near Russia. I'll show you on the map. You guys know where Kazakhstan is? Here's the map. There's the United States, Canada. Over here, Kazakhstan, underneath Russia. Over in here, back in the year 2000, God gave a young man, a 24-year-old young man, a dream where he put the very number in the dream, 2028. And I'll tell you how here in a second. I'm going to read his email to you. And he's given me the okay to share this message with you guys. It's astounding what God has done. What's fascinating to me is in the year 2000, that's the year I moved to the small town of Donaldson, Tennessee. February 1st, 2000. And I had no clue that that town had a fire station. Well, I knew it had a fire station eventually, but I had no clue that it was number 28. My message that Christ is returning in fire, 2028. So in that year, I moved there February 1st. At that time, in the year 2000, I was here in Nashville trying to be a country music singer. I had no message from God, wasn't even thinking about it. And yet at that time, in the year 2000, when I moved to this small town of Donaldson, Tennessee, God, over on the other side of the world in Kazakhstan, gave a young man a dream. Let's take a look at it. This is fascinating to me, guys. God was already confirming the end was coming in 2028, way back in the year 2000. I'm blown away. So here, I'll just show you real quick. Here was my email, and you can see the guy's name is Kazapia. I think you say it, Kazapia. I received the email June 21st, 2025 at 6:40 a.m. That was Saturday, by the way. This is God's anointed Sabbath day. That's when the guy just so happened to write me. I transferred his email over to a Word document so it's bigger, so you guys can see it on the screen. So Kazapia, thank you, Gabriel Ansley Erb, for revealing the meaning of the dream I had in 2000. This dream has been a mystery to me ever since I had it. I only shared it with my family and close friends. I was 24 years old, unemployed, living in the city of Kostane. And it was the hardest year of my life. My father, who had been suffering from cancer for a year, died. And a year before his death, when I did not know yet about his illness, I had a dream in which he was acting crazy on the street, doing strange things, and in the end, he ran out onto the road and was hit by an ambulance. The following month, he called me and said he wanted to leave the country with me. At that moment, he most likely already knew about his diagnosis. 3 or 4 months later, the whole family learned about his terrible illness. At that time, I had been unemployed since 1997, after graduating from KazGU University in Almaty. During that time, I was interested in Krishnamurti, Theosophy, Buddhism, yoga, and playing computer games. So we got a 24-year-old kid here, right? That's just lost his dad. He's devastated. And he has no idea what God has in store for him. He's searching. You can see he's into Theosophy, Buddhism, yoga, Krishna. That's probably the Hare Krishna stuff. He's seeking. He's searching. He wants to know. And the creator of the universe is going to give him a dream about when the end is coming. And he's not going to realize that. Fascinating to me. So here it is. It was in 2000 that I had a dream, the most amazing dream of my life. In the dream, I was in the city of Pavlodar, where I was born and spent my childhood. It was very dark. I ran out of the 3-story house in the Illuminastroid district into the center of the courtyard onto the soccer field. And I see that it is dark in all the houses around, that it is dark throughout the city. I look up at the sky and see many bright stars, and the stars begin to move quickly and chaotically in some kind of a dance, accelerating and accelerating until a number emerges from the chaotic dance. 2028. That's where the dream ended. And when I woke up, guys, I'm going to tell you about this dream in a minute. My belief of what the darkness means and the stars. I was shocked, and I immediately understood that this was the year 2028. But what would happen in 28 years? Will it happen to me or to the whole world? For a while, I thought it was the year of my death. Then I thought that I had to do everything before 2028, no matter what happened. Only during the pandemic, when the events began to accelerate, did I realize that this acceleration was leading to 2028, and that it concerned the whole world. And then he goes on to another dream here he had in the 2000s. And I'm not going to get into this. You can slow the video if you want to read this. It's about him not knowing whether or not he should leave Kazakhstan. And then he shares right here real quick how he found me, how he came across me. In 2024, I found Brandon Biggs' video about the assassination attempt of Donald Trump, and I realized that his predictions also lead to 2028. So how did I find your videos on YouTube? I stumbled upon a video in which a man from South Africa predicted that the rapture would be on September 23rd through the 25th of this year, 2025. But I thought that can't be. It must be in 2028. And so I typed Rapture 2028 into YouTube search and found your channel. I watched your amazing videos, which were the final piece of the puzzle that allowed the whole picture to come together. And I decided to share my story with you. Kazapia. Fascinating. So what's the dream about? The dream was about darkness. Remember, it was dark everywhere. He ran outside, the whole town was dark. All the houses were dark. It was just this darkness to the dream. Guys, listen to what it says about the day of the Lord when he returns. This is in Amos. Chapter 7, Blow ye the trumpet in Zion, and sound an alarm in my holy mountain. Let all the inhabitants of the land tremble, for the day of the Lord cometh, for it is nigh at hand. A day of darkness and of gloominess, a day of clouds and of thick darkness. See, the darkness in his dream represented the day of the Lord. And the stars. What's that about? Guys, the stars are connected also with the day of the Lord's return. Remember in Matthew 24, immediately after the tribulation of those days shall the sun be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light, and the stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of the heavens shall be shaken. Over in Revelation 6, the sixth seal, when it's open, that's the end, by the way, if you guys don't know that. When the sixth seal opens, that's the end. That's Feast of Trumpets 2028. And behold, when he had opened the sixth seal, and lo, there was a great earthquake, and the sun became black as sackcloth of hair, and the moon became as blood. Same things Jesus was saying in Matthew 24 that we just read. And the stars of heaven fell unto the earth, even as a fig tree casteth her untimely figs, when she is shaken of a mighty wind. You see this connection, guys, with the stars and the day of the Lord. It's like they're moving, they're falling. He's seeing them accelerating in his dream, moving around. This is all symbolism, guys, of the day of the Lord, the very end. And then those stars emerged into a number, 2028. Can you believe it, guys? As clear as can be. Way back in the year 2000. It blows my mind, guys. The year I moved to Donaldson. I'm just blown away by that. You guys know, right, that I didn't find out. You remember I wrote the book in 2008. Didn't find out that our town had Fire Station 28 until 2020, March 4th of 2020. You guys need to get on the confirmations here. Go down here to confirmation number, right here, number 12, Donaldson Fire Department. My wife looked over in March 2020. She looked over and saw the fire station on its brick wall, written kind of small, Fire Station 28. And around that same time, they started sticking decals on their two fire trucks, huge number 28s. So only then was I made aware of it, that he had moved me to Donaldson, Tennessee, Fire Station 28 town, to receive this message. Isn't that amazing, guys? It wasn't just that he wanted somebody named Gabriel to receive this message, because, you know, in the Bible, the angel Gabriel is the messenger angel. It's the one sent by God to deliver a message. The book of Daniel, it was Gabriel that came. To Mary, the mother of Jesus, it was Gabriel. To Zechariah, you know, telling him that your wife Elizabeth is going to have a child. John the Baptist, Gabriel is the messenger. So he wanted a man named Gabriel. And I tell about that in my testimony. How a prophet called me out when I was 12, saying, do you know that God gave you your name? For your name is Gabriel. He didn't just want a man named Gabriel. He wanted that man to then move. I was born in Lancaster, in Pennsylvania. I had to move the whole way to Nashville because he anointed me with the ability to sing, guys, when I was like 21 years old. Before that, I was just an average singer. But at 21 years old, I was driving down the road, and all of a sudden I started singing along with the radio. And I could tell something had happened. Like, I could tell I could do all the vocal tricks as those country singers on the radio. It blew my mind. I'll never forget the day, guys. It's like he touched me with that and put this in me, like, I'm going to be a country music singer. I know I can sing as good as these guys. Next thing you know, there was a contest in my local area, and I entered that contest, and guys, long story short, I'm in Nashville because of that contest, in another contest, and I came in 4th place out of 115 singers all over the country. And I should have came in number 1. The only reason I wasn't number 1 is because of my outfit. One of the judges, one of the women judges, docked me like 8 points because of my outfit. Anyway, it's not about that. The point is, God touched me with the ability to sing, which is what made me decide I'm moving to Nashville. I'm going to be a country music singer. But it was all a plan by God. He wanted to move me to the small town of Donaldson, Tennessee, with Fire Station 28 to receive this message. That's astounding, guys. To me, that just blows my mind. And now I find out, when the very year he moved me there in 2000, he was giving a guy on the other side of the world this dream of the end coming in 2028. Blows my mind, guys. Blows my mind. And one more thing, and then I'm done here. Remember, this guy, I'll show you again, his dream, he emailed me June 21st. Guys, there's a movie that came out here in the States. Actually, it came out, I think, in the UK is where it was made, but it came out here in the States too, called 28 Years Later. I don't know if you've heard about it. So he emails June 21st, right? 2025, this past Saturday, this past weekend. This movie, 28 years later. That's what his dream was saying. You know, remember, he was confused, like, what's going to happen in 28 years? What's going to happen 28 years later? You know, he has his dream in 2000 of these stars turning into 2028, and he doesn't understand, what's this about? So this weekend, 28 years later comes out, right? He emailed, of all this time, 25 years, and only now has he found me. Like I said, I look at myself like I'm just the keeper of this message. I'm the keeper of God's 2028 end message. I'm the one he sent to make this message known to the world. And so this guy has just now come across me, and so only now can he tell me about what God had done way back in the year 2000. And the very weekend he sends is the very weekend this movie came out, 28 years later. Guys, I look at that as a double confirmation. I call it like a God wink. He's winking at this and saying, Gabriel, this guy who just emailed you, his story is true. And remember the Bible, anytime God says something twice, it means it's a sure thing. You can't pray it away. You're not changing it. It will happen when he speaks it twice, which is another thing I could get into. Most of the confirmations that God has done, guys, he did a double thing. It's like he doubly confirmed each one. That's another whole story. I'm not going to get into it. But anyway, this I'll show you down here, 28 years later. I'll show you. Remember, he emailed me June 21st. This movie just came out this weekend. June 20th, Friday night is usually when movies come out. Let me find it here. Right here, release date. June 20th, on a Friday. And he emails me June 21st. The very weekend this movie comes out, called 28 Years Later, this man emails me his dream that was saying 28 years later, the end will come in 2028. And one more thing. I noticed this about it. Its budget, $60 million. They estimate that they spent $60 million. Remember, guys, the number 6? That's how he told the end from the beginning. After 6 days, meaning 6,000 years, the end will come. I find it interesting, this very movie, they estimate that it was $60 million to make it. And one more thing, I noticed in the trailer, this is the trailer for the movie, 28 years later. They say, you see it there? They say, I'm not going to play the trailer because they flagged my video. In it, at the very end, it says, how much time... I don't know if I can find the... Let me see if I can find... Yeah, right there. How much time do we... And then have left. They're saying, how much time do we have left? In the trailer. We got a little over 3 years and 3 months, guys. That's how much time's left. Or from that guy's dream, it was 28 years later. That's how much time we have left. And then one more thing they say here at the very end of the trailer. This is the last thing said. Hang on a second. It's the last thing said in the trailer.
This is a glorious day. The day of judgment. My children! There's no...
Did you hear that, guys? This is a glorious day. The day of judgment. Oh, man. This is a glorious day, the day of judgment. Christ returns in flaming fire. Feast of Trumpets, 2028. A glorious day for the saints. A terrible day for the wicked. Feast of Trumpets 2028. Isn't that amazing? The actual trailer 28 years later is saying a glorious day, the day of judgment. Let me help you understand how amazing this is. See, the movie trailer doesn't have to have those words in it. There could be a movie out right now called 28 Years Later that's some rom-com, some love story. But the fact that this movie has the words, "This is a glorious day, the day of judgment." That's what we're talking about, people. The day of Christ's return is the day of judgment. So you're telling me back in the year 2000, God gave a man, Kazapia, over in Kazakhstan, a dream of the stars forming into the number 2028, which means 28 years later from when he had his dream. The day of judgment was coming. 28 years later. And after all this time, 25 years now, he's lived with that. And only now he's come across my information. Coming across our 2028 End YouTube channel. And he reaches out to me right now, June 21st, the middle day of the 3-day opening weekend of the movie 28 Years Later, that's saying this is a glorious day, the day of judgment. I don't know, folks. What is it going to take some of you people to believe? I have so much hate mail coming my way from you people who will not believe. I'm thinking you guys have never actually listened to the 10-part 2028 End video series. If you would actually listen to the meat of this message from the Bible, how God declared the end from the beginning using 6 days, meaning year 6,000 the end would come, and then the millennial reign of Christ, the 1,000-year millennial reign, fulfilling the 7th day in the creation story, the Sabbath. If you would listen to this message and all of the proof, remember the series when I made it turned out to be exactly 280 minutes. 2028 End. The time went down to 0. Listen to all the confirmations afterwards. It's just mind-boggling what all God has done, man. What does he have to do to make you people believe? The end is coming in 3 years and 3 months, whether you believe it or not. But more important than all of this is the message of salvation that God gave me. There is so many lies in the church, people. You have to listen to the Salvation Equation series and the 10 Love Commandments series. That is most important of all. Because none of us knows if we're even going to get to live tomorrow, let alone another 3 years and 3 months. We could be dead on any day. So you must be living right. So listen to those 2 series. They are most important. So at the end of this video, I'm going to link once again the 10-part series 2028 End. Start there and listen to it. I mean, what else do you have to do? What are you listening to? What are you wasting your time on that you can't actually listen to the biblical meat of this message that God gave me back in 2008? Why won't you listen? What are you doing with your time? Well, God bless you. It's on you. I'm just a conduit. I'm just here to deliver the messages from God. Just like the angel Gabriel was. He hears God's message, he came to earth and delivered the message to mankind. That's all I can do. It's on you to listen and then change your life if you need to. And get ready for the return of Jesus Christ. It's going to be a glorious day. The day of judgment. Feast of Trumpets 2028.